Third Mutual had their regularly scheduled meeting yesterday and actually was held at City Hall. So we're having Bert Baum join us on the set today. He's a director with Third Mutual. And you had about three and a half hour meeting yesterday?
Well, that was just not
start,
even
right?
half of it. In fact, we just ended, so I just grabbed a bite and just ran right over here.
They just hand out sleeping
Actually,
bags.
we were ended about 5 o'clock,
Wow.
5:30.
It's a long day for y'all.
Yeah. What most people don't realize is that in the second half, we deal with issues related to hearings. People have created some disturbance in the community.
Are they usually compliance issues when they come to your board at that point?
A lot of them are compliance issues. But that's not all we deal with. There are legal questions and all. Yeah.
Well, I know one of the questions that people have is what's going on with dry rot in your community, and that's been an issue for probably 15 years now, and with this rain, I'm sure it's not getting any better.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that question. And as a matter of fact, we have a pre-paint program where before they come and paint your manor, they look at it, investigate it. They have a crew, and they found that I had dry rot, unbeknownst to me. And not only that, I had termites.
Oh, wow.
So what we're doing in terms of dry rot is we passed 2 regulations, and this is from our Architectural Control and Standards Committee, and that was split off from M&C. And what they want to do, and what they're in the process of doing, is making sure that all new construction in the community doesn't use wood, okay? So they passed 2 resolutions to kind of extend that so that if you're going to build a patio cover or a solarium, you have to use non-wood or wood substitute.
So they're talking about a vinyl of some sort?
Yes, it would be vinyl, aluminum wood. And I put in a new patio cover years ago, and it's aluminum, but it's also clad aluminum, so it looks much nicer.
Right.
So that's good, and that's the overall objective of our board and what we try to do. We try to prevent and solve ongoing problems, and also think about the future, what's coming up. And one of the most important things we have to do is watch your money, and that's our main responsibility. We're always aware of that. And I'm happy to report that we have a preliminary year-end result. These are not unaudited figures, but they look pretty good. So we have an operating surplus of $481,000 this year. So that's better than budget, and that's a figure of the revenue we took in over expenses. And of course, the revenue includes people's assessments. And we also were able, over the year, to increase our reserves, and this is an ongoing question, an ongoing issue. So our reserves increased $6 million from 18 to $24 million, and we're trying to build up those reserves. And part of that is related to people who are concerned about earthquakes. You know, this is an ongoing question. The mutual itself doesn't have earthquake insurance, not as yet, and we encourage the residents to get earthquake insurance on their own. I have it. Of course, the question is whether the chances of us having an earthquake, and if we did, what damage would there be? So we've established an earthquake task force, and I guess 2 of the main objectives is to look at, do we need insurance and what would it cost, and then what kind of shape are we in, how critical is the need here, and that's the things they're going to look at. Also, as part of this, we're trying to improve, and this has been ongoing, it's another task force that's been looking at our purchasing policies. So they want to streamline, they have been streamlining the procedures, developing better procedures. We want to make sure there's transparency and that the contracts we sign are competitive. So we've actually passed 2 resolutions related to that. One is that we're going to use an outside lawyer for what we call non-standard contracts. So that when we come across a contract that's a little different from the standard contracts we work with, we will go to an outside lawyer. We won't have them all the time, but just for this.
Are you using the Third Mutual's legal team?
No,
Are you
this
using
would
someone
be
else?
someone through VMS who knows about contracts and can really help us on this. And the other thing is, and this would cover the whole community, not just Third Board, but we also have approved now a new operation procedures which identifies the responsibility and duties of the board, and this is for Third, the committees, and our managing agent, VMS. So I don't know if they have anything else left. They've done quite a bit. We also have a problem with late fees and delinquencies, and we're trying to make sure that we can collect the money that's due us. And if we don't collect that money, that costs the residents in terms of their assessments. So what we've done now is we are able to deactivate your cable service. And previously we did that when you were 65 days delinquent in assessments, and now we've changed 75 days. We changed that to 60 days, and we've also increased the late fees. So if you have a late charge for fines or fees or chargeable services, it's going to cost you a late fee of $35. And one of the things we're looking at, again, for the future and what's going on today is energy. And we're looking at LED lighting. It's been installed now in all of the 3-story buildings in Gate 14. And if anyone hasn't seen it, I recommend you go look at it. The residents are really happy. It's much brighter and it's cheaper. Okay, and that work is still going on, and we're looking at installing LDE lights on the street lights. And there's one on Faro that you can see. It's not very beautiful. People have complained about it, but it gives a nice light, and there's going to be further testing going on Sociego. This is for Third Mutual. And we're also looking at improving the walkway lighting. And as you know, we've had a big solar project where we put these solar panels up on the 3-story buildings, and that's designed to cut up electricity costs for the common area, which includes the 3-story buildings. And we now have finished we finished 7 buildings that are ready to go. We're just waiting for SCC to tell us we can go ahead. And then we're also have 5 buildings where we have to solve certain problems involving the transformers, and that will be all ready to go. The other thing is people have these plug-in electric vehicles. We think this is the wave of the future. If you notice, gas now is over $3 a gallon, and the automobile companies are really pushing for these electric vehicles. We had a fee set up that if you use the common area, 120 volt electricity, you had to buy this decal and pay a fee based on your usage. That turned out to be very cumbersome. So now we've introduced a new program where you would pay $240 a year, a flat fee to use common electricity. Also, we've passed a modified solar panel resolution involving the 2-story buildings. If you have a 2-story buildings, there are a lot of people sharing the same roof. So there are identified areas for each manor that they can use the roof, but we've also given VMS the flexibility to choose what area you can use if the area you did have was occupied. And yes?
So are the 7 buildings, is that the complete total for the solar program, or
No,
are there other
12.
buildings? There's 12 altogether?
Just about
Okay.
12.
So
12,
like you said, you have the 7 that are just about wrapped
ready to
up.
go, right.
And then the 5 that they're probably making modifications to.
Well, they have to find new transformers for those. So we think we have some solutions to that, but that's still ongoing. And the other 2 committees that I've been involved with is residency and communication, and we will have a new policy. It's really a modified policy for leasing, and we hope to introduce that at our next open meeting. So be aware. And the other thing is we want to continue to improve communication between the boards, between the directors and the public. And we ask you, anytime you want, if you have a club, if you want a director to come speak to you, call Catherine Laster, 597-4265. We'll be happy to do that.
Sounds good. So if you'd like a speaker for your next club meeting, give them a call at 597-4265. That's the general manager's office. And one of the directors will come and speak on that topic.
Yeah,
It's a great
might be
idea.
me.
It's a nice
If-
outreach, for your community and for the boards of directors.
Right.
When you talk about the assessment having a surplus of almost $500,000, where does that money actually go?
Very good question.
Everybody was wondering that.
Yeah, first of all, that's not an official figure.
Okay.
That figure can really change by the time it's audited and all the books are settled. Then we have to decide how we're going to use that money. In the last few years, we've given some of that back and reduced assessments. I don't guarantee that we're going to continue to do that. So we have to decide, and that's one of our big responsibilities, how we're going to use those funds.
Right. And when you talk $500,000, it seems like a lot of money, but when you spread it out over 6,000 people, it's like $4 or
Right.
$5 per man or per
Right.
month.
It's
So,
not a lot of money.
so it's kind of nicer to put that in a general fund or some reserve that can help you in the future.
Right.
Sounds good. Well, we appreciate you coming on the program today and
My
giving us a
pleasure.
report. Thanks so much. That's Bert Baum. He's a director at Third Mutual. And be sure and catch the meetings here on Channel 6. Check our message board and our television guide as well. We're going to be back with more of our program right after this.